I'm going to break down for you today the few things that I put into place to actually start traveling as a service provider with my business, being able to take the time off to go on trips and also run my business at the same time and not have to compromise on anything while I was doing this too. So for context, I've spent 10 months now traveling with my business, and all of these trips have fully been funded by my income from this business. So this has literally allowed me to travel the world, go and see places I never would have seen otherwise, all while serving my clients at the same time. And there were just really a few things that I needed to get started here. I know sometimes the process can feel really complicated, can feel really big of a task to actually get started with this, but here are the few things that I put into place to actually make sure I could start traveling and stay traveling as well and actually make this a reality for me. The very first thing, and probably the most important, is getting consistent income in your business, especially when you're an entrepreneur and you're not 100% sure exactly what your income is going to look like every single month. You want to make sure this is as consistent as you can possibly make it, so you can actually make the financial decision that you are going to travel and actually knowing how much money is coming in when you are booking trips, because it's really hard to book a trip for 3 months' time if you have no idea how much income is coming in 3 months' time. So actually building out your income, not just in terms of increasing it each month, but in terms of actually making it a bit consistent and building a really consistent baseline and focusing on that as a goal, is such a big area to focus on, because this means you can actually book things down the line knowing you already have that income coming in advance. So actually just building consistent income, this was a really important one for me and meant that I could actually book several trips at a time, and I didn't need to do it based on how much I made that month because I already knew how much was coming in the months that I would be traveling. The second thing is actually creating a schedule that would actually give me the freedom to travel and enjoy these places that I was visiting at the same time. So I was so strict with my calendar, always with this, in terms of giving myself what I actually needed in terms of time to focus on work. So making sure I actually have the time I needed to focus on my work, focus on serving my clients, and focus on the business still, not just running, but actually growing and thriving as well. But also making sure that I had the time to, prioritize travel as well, and also see places and be able to explore all the places that I was visiting. So actually making sure that I was really specific on my times on when I would do both of these things and actually sticking to those. So I was able to really prioritize the areas that were important to my business and spend as minimal time working in the business as possible. So I actually had time to explore and do all of these fun things while I was traveling and seeing all these cool places. And I really had to find a balance as well, jumping off of that, of really just what working abroad actually looked like for me in terms of what did that balance look like, because I think it's really easy to say, it sounds really fun and it'll be really great, but actually finding that balance in terms of, okay, how much am I actually going to be working? How much am I actually going to be enjoying myself and exploring places, etc.? And what's that actually going to look like from a schedule perspective? So I actually really made sure I planned out what this time would look like, essentially of, okay, I'm going to set strict boundaries around my work. When I'm working, I'm 100% focused on work. I'm not, trying to distract myself and make it as fun as possible. I'm really focused on my work. But then equally, when I'm having fun time, when I'm having time to explore, I'm fully focused on that. So there's no blurring of those lines between the two. And it means I can actually prioritize both of those things and just have really strict boundaries around both of these things. So I can do both at the same time without needing to pick one or the other. They can actually both be priorities, and you can actually have both of these things at the same time without needing to compromise then. So those are the three things I really put in place to actually start traveling as a service provider and start actually doing this within my business, making this a real possibility for me. If you found these helpful, make sure you hit the like button below and make sure you subscribe so you do not miss the daily videos as well. And I will see you in the next one.